how can I put this? I've been unwell. Now, a lot of you will say, well, we know that. Every time I see you, you look unwell. But no, I actually have been unwell. I don't think, my wife and I were just talking about this then. So for 3 or 4 days, we just got back from Hobart, and which was great. And then obviously someone on the plane had some bloody infectious disease that I caught. And my wife caught as well. And so I've taken the last 3 or 4 days off again. And haven't been able to get to you and talk to you about the things that matter to me and hopefully things that matter to you. So you're going to have to excuse me if I cough every now and again, because I've been doing that for days and days on end. And I just felt like I had to get out here and make a post to you just to let you know that I haven't forgotten about my obligation to find a way to have conversations with you that matter to you. And also, I just want to remind you that tomorrow I plan to do the first live feed for a couple of weeks with Avery. Hopefully he will be available. I'll check with him at some point. But either way, I'll be doing a live feed tomorrow on my own, or with Avery, depending on how he is faring. Problem is, we're getting old, and as we get older, the physical illnesses and ailments tend to increase, I think. So hopefully I can continue to do this for so many years to come, because as a part of my retirement, this is an important project for me. I've just purchased a whole stack of new equipment to try and make my production a little bit better and a little bit more seamless. But I don't know, and I bought it and I spent most of the day trying to put it together, and realised that the current system I've got is probably as good as anything, and I'm just wasting money at the end of the day. Nevertheless, so be it. That's my complaint. But what I want to talk about was another complaint, and that was Pauline Hanson. So Pauline did the burqa thing again. She decided that because she did this thing 7 years ago, and it was such a big hit, everybody loved the fact that she was wearing a burqa. I think people liked the fact that she was wearing a burqa because it hid her face, the terrible, terrible, racist face of Pauline Hanson. And I would actually advocate now that perhaps she should wear it all the time, so that we didn't have to gawk at her degree of hate and racism and the other stuff that I guess One Nation represent to me, which is, they don't really have any policies whatsoever. They are just about division. They're about developing and manifesting disrespect for everybody that has a different view to their own. They are terrible. So, Pauline Hanson wears this burqa in the Senate the other day, and all hell breaks loose. But there's an interesting article which I'm just going to have a look at now with you in the Guardian. So Pauline Hanson thinks she speaks for the mainstream, but her burqa stunt shows she is a bit player with bad instincts. I couldn't agree more. Nearly 30 years after she first entered politics with a firebrand maiden speech about Asian immigrants, Pauline Hanson remains a committed fringe dweller with narrow political interests and bad instincts. Suspended from the Senate on Tuesday, her decision to don a burqa in the chamber the day earlier badly disrupted proceedings and drew near universal condemnation. It is only the fifth time since 1901 that a 7-day suspension has been put in place, and the first time since 1979. Prompted by the refusal of the Labor and the Coalition to entertain her latest push for a bill to ban face coverings in public, the stunt was a replay from 2017 and shows her political playbook is threadbare, even when One Nation parliamentary ranks are at a record high and the party primaries vote is polling at nearly 20%. And given all of that, one has to wonder why she even bothered. It is, I think, when a party doesn't have any real political policies and well thought out and planned views that the public would grasp, sometimes minor parties just have to play to the extreme. They have to find a way to get their face and name, in this case, minus her face because she had a burqa on, but they have to find a way in order to, I guess, make a dent, to become somehow relevant. And that's exactly what Pauline did. The article does also tell us that voters don't want religious or racial division in their national parliament, and while banning the burqa might play with the Sky After Dark audience, it is miles from a mainstream concern among punters. And that's true. Pauline Hanson declared that, for some particular reason, she almost thinks that there's a crime wave now around people wearing burqas. And she says, people who go into banks who are wearing helmets have to take their helmets off for obvious reasons. Then why doesn't the same thing apply to the burqa? Well, I guess one could argue that there's nothing terribly significantly religious about wearing a helmet compared to wearing a burqa. And when one thinks about the number of women, I haven't seen a woman wearing a burqa for ages. So I don't know where all these women are that are of Muslim faith. And I've heard some comments have been, well, women would prefer to wear a burqa. It's sometimes just their choice. Why should we limit what people wear? And then she says, well, there's no dress code in Parliament House. You can't wear whatever you like in Parliament House, particularly when it's viewed as a prompt, which her burqa was. And would Pauline strip off down to her underwear in Parliament House to make a point? I don't think so. In fact, the thought I find rather repulsive. I must get rid of that image. It's a bit overwhelming. No, she's just trying to claim a bit of attention because she's so excited about the 20% that she now has on the polling. That will dwindle. That will change, particularly as people drift back to the Liberal Party, which I suspect they will in the next 2 years or so. So let me know, though, what you think about Pauline's stunt, whether you think it has any great value and whether it's going to go anywhere, because I don't think it will. I think it's just a storm in a teacup. It'll go nowhere because it's Pauline just trying to create some attention for herself. And as it turned out, for Barnaby Joyce, when Barnaby joins One Nation at some particular point, another stupid move by Barnaby. But there again, he does quite a few of those. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. In the meantime, just take care.